I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on trigonometric ratios. In this video, we'll understand the concept of quadrant angles and how to evaluate the value of a trigonometric ratio for quadrant angle. Let us first understand what is a quadrant angle. On a coordinate plane, you have x and y axis. They divide the plane into four quadrants. Starting from the right hand side top, we write that as quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. Then we have quadrant 3 and 4. Correct? Whenever you draw any angle in standard position, let me write down the word standard position. In that case, the initial arm is along the x-axis. Correct? And you rotate the angle towards the angle theta, and you get your terminal arm somewhere. Normally, the terminal arm in one of these quadrants. So the terminal arm could be in, so let me call this as the terminal arm, could be in Q1, could be in Q2, could be in Q3, could be in Q4, right? So it could be in either of these four places. You'll also notice that it could be on the x-axis or it could also be on the y-axis, right? So it could be positioned here also, somewhere along the axis itself. A point on the axis does not belong to any quadrant, right? So this point, if it lies on the axis, then we give it a name, which is quadrant angle. Is that clear to you? So when we have an angle, which could be, let's say, something like this, that is an quadrant angle because now the terminal arm will lie along the y-axis. Do you see that? Along the x-axis, right? If you are here for 270 degrees, then that is also a quadrant angle. Perfect. So these are the angles where the terminal arm is along the axis. It could be along x-axis or it could be along y-axis. Perfect. So now let us see how do we evaluate trigonometric ratios when we are given an angle which corresponds to quadrant angle. Correct. So we have, I think, answered the very first question, which is what is a quadrant angle? And now let's look into question number 2, which is explain the strategy to calculate trigonometric ratio for the given quadrant angle, right? So what we have understood here is that for a quadrant angle, terminal arm of an angle in standard position is on x or y axis. So then we say quadrant angle. Perfect. Now, let us also now find the strategy to evaluate trigonometric ratio for quadrant angles. So for that, it is important to understand the unit circle itself. So we'll now begin with the unit circle as shown. So here we have a unit circle. You will notice that I've marked the points. The one on the x-axis is 1, 0, then on the y-axis is 0, 1, and then minus 1, 0 on negative side of the x-axis, and 0, minus 1 is the fourth point on this particular unit circle, which is on the axis. So these points help us to find the trigonometric ratio. How? Let us say that any point in particular, P, is basically xy. And if my circle has a unit of 1, in that case, what is x equals to? X is cos of theta, correct? If this angle here is theta, then x is cos of theta. Y is sine of theta. And what is tan theta? The ratio y over x is tan theta. Now on a unit circle, very easily from the point itself we get the value of trigonometric ratios. So that is how you calculate the value of trigonometric ratios. Is that clear to you? For example, if I say, what is sine of 90 degrees? So you will actually see that 90 degrees is this angle, and here sine is the y value. You can write down the answer as 1. How about cos of 270 degrees? So 270 degrees is this angle. The x value is 0, so get your answer as 0. And if my question is, what is tan of 180 degrees? Now tan of 180 degrees, you're looking at this point, and the ratio of y over x is 0 over minus 1, which is 0. So you get your value of the tan of 180 degrees. So it is very easy to find the value of the quadrant angles. Correct? So basically what you notice here is that the values here could be either plus 1 or minus 1. It could be 0. It could be undefined, dividing by 0. So in this ratio of tan theta, if x is 0, the x value being 0, for example, this particular case, if I want to find what is tan of 270 degrees, we know it is undefined. Is that clear to you? So very easily from the unit circle points, you can get the answer. Now based on this, let's have practice exercise. So question number 3 is, without using calculator, write value of the following trigonometric ratios. So the first one here is sine of minus 450 degrees. Now where will 450 degrees lie? That is our first thing. We have to figure this out. Minus 450 degrees. So you could actually go one full circle in this direction, that is 360, and then more. So you could do, well, how much more? Do some calculations here. You could do 450 minus 360. You get a value of 90 degrees. So that means you have to go further, and there you go. This angle here is minus 450 degrees. Minus, since we are going clockwise direction. So clockwise direction is always negative. Now here, if I take a point here, the x value definitely is 0, and the y value will be minus 1. So we're just taking one value, one unit. Now what is sine value? Sine is the y value, and therefore the answer should be minus 1. Is that clear to you? So we can write down the answer as sine of minus 450 degrees is equal to minus 1. Is that clear to you? So simple. Correct? So visualize where the point is and then get the value from the coordinate value. Let's do one more example, which is this next one here. We'll again follow the same method. Let me write down the cosine value of 810 degrees this time. Positive. That means we'll go one circle 360, another circle 720, and 720 and 90 will give us 810. So we get 810 degrees. You land up here, which is effectively 90 degrees. Any particular point in this place could be considered on a unit circle will be what? The x value being 0, the y value being 1. Now, whenever we talk about the cosine function, the cosine ratio belongs to the x value. And therefore, we can write down the answer, which is cos of 810 degrees equal to 0. Perfect. Now let's take the next example. I think you got the concept. So you can actually pause the video at this stage, write down the answer and check with my solution. So let's take this value as tan of 270 degrees. So straight 270 degrees is right there for you. So that is 270 degrees. And any point here will be on a unit circle, of course, 0 for x value, 1 minus for the y value. Now tan ratio is ratio of y over x. So this should be equal to minus 1 over 0. Dividing by 0 is not defined, so the answer is undefined. Is that clear to you? So that is how we can easily find the answer. So last three here are for you to practice. So I'd like you to actually pause the video here, practice, and then check with my answer. So basically what you need to do in each one of these is, one, you have to figure out where you land up, where is the terminal arm, right? And then a point on a unit circle. So the first question here is sine of 540 degrees. So 540 degrees means what? So you got 360 degrees, right? And then 180. So you land up here, and that is 540 degrees. Correct? So you could also do some math here and figure this out, but take away 360 and then do the answer. Okay. So 360 plus 180 is 540. A unit circle point at this stage will have a y value of 0, right? X value could be minus 1, right? And therefore, the answer for this is 0, the y value. Whenever you're looking into sine, it is the y value. Clear? The next one here is tan of 450 degrees. So 450 degrees is 360 plus 90. Now at this stage, the point here on a unit circle could be 0 and 1. Tan value is the ratio 1 over 0. So the answer here is undefined. Now let us evaluate the value of cos of minus 630 degrees. So let's begin by placing the terminal arm at the right position for 630 degrees. Minus means we have to go clockwise direction, correct? So from here, 360, and then we go further, and there you go, 630 degrees. So you could also calculate like this, 630 minus 360 is what? So 0, 7, and 2. So 270 more, right? So you land up here. On the y-axis, on a unit circle, the point value will be x is 0, the y is 1. For cosine function, the value of x corresponds to cos, and therefore we get our answer, which is cos of minus 630 degrees is equal to 0. Is that clear to you? So as you have seen in this particular case, For a cosine function, we are always looking into the x value. For the tan function, we are looking into the ratio. So let me write down here. For sine theta, it is the y value. For tan theta, it is the ratio y over x. And for cos theta, it is the x value, which will give you the answer for the quadrant angle, right? So this is the case when we are looking into the quadrant angles. I hope that makes sense. So with that, we actually have understood what are quadrant angles, and we have a good strategy to find the exact value of trigonometric ratios for a given quadrant angle, and just a unit circle points, which will help us to immediately get the answer. Perfect. So that is how we are going to solve such questions. I hope it makes sense. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your time and all the best.